Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Looking forward.
Yes. Are we already live on
Uh,
YouTube?
I don't know, but I got my phone also on, so let me just check. Ganya,
Mm.
are we live on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am, we have started the process. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for Zoom to connect with YouTube, but we have initiated the process.
I
Okay, great.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we have 4 minutes, right? Yeah.
Hello, namaste everyone.
Namaste, everyone. Good to see you, girls.
Hi, Amitav. Good evening.
Good evening, Vinita. How are you?
Very well. So good to see you. And as of course, I can't even say thank you for being
You
here.
don't need to.
Like,
It's an
no
honor.
words are ever sufficient for you anyway.
Yeah.
Never, never, never. It's an
Karma
absolute
is
honor.
his.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Thank
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
just
yeah.
sounds only
As
so
much
wrong.
as much mine as it is yours.
Yeah, yeah. More yours, I think. I know that.
So therefore, it just sounds wrong. So any attempt for the thank you has been quickly withdrawn.
Not
Yes.
required.
Amitav, I think another like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Sure. I know we are live on YouTube, so maybe we can just inform anyone who's watching
Yeah.
live. We'll get started at 7.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. Hello sir. Namaste ma'am.
Namaste.
Yay, so excited. It's going to start.
Yes, you're the boss. Lead the way.
Yes, ma'am.
The interview needs to be on mute, please. Jyoti, I think we should start.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just give me a moment. So, Naina ma'am, are we ready?
Yes, we can start.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to share my screen. Yeah. Got it. I got it. Is my screen visible?
No, it's now it is.
Okay. Yeah. Is my screen visible? Can you please give me reconfirmation? Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can start. I guess Sakshi and Sneha, I think we can start now.
Yes. Okay. Namaste, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Karm Talk, and I'm Sakshi. I'm thrilled to be your co-host for today. Before anything else, I would like to take you through the guidelines for today. Jyoti, can you just go to the next slide? Yes. So there are some of the things that we'll be following while we are in the session, and which is being punctual and prepared. Sir will be doing some activity. He'll be asking you questions, and you'll be asking him questions. So be punctual, listen to everything, engage actively, respect, show respect, because once you show respect, you'll take respect. Keep the space inclusive and professional and respectful. Uh, Concise your questions. Do not write 4 or 5 sentences for one questions. You can frame clear questions which is relevant and to the point. And yes, this space is full of people. You can network, you can connect, and take share takeaways, apply learnings in your own journey. As Sir will be sharing his own journey with us. Now, I would like to call Sneha, who will be first sharing about Karm Awaz, because we need to understand what Karm Awaz is before we jump into the conversation. Sneha, please go ahead.
Yes, for sure. Hello, everyone. I am Sneha, a Karm Fellow and one of the facilitators at Karmavas. I feel so proud to introduce Karmavas, an initiative by Karm and Karm Fellows. Karmavas was a movement started to empower young women, to equip them with tools, resources, and opportunities, helping them overcome their challenges and realize their full potential. Karmavas is a safe space for our Karmavas Sakhis where they get to identify themselves, amplify their voices through the powerful stories of lived experiences. We at Karmava support these women in transforming their futures with pride and purpose. So let's today start. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so today we have Amitav sir with us for telling his powerful story, for sharing his story with us. And I expect all the Sakis and all the attendees to listen to him carefully and respect the space. And I will hand this over to Sakshi again.
Thank you so much, Sneha. I mean, every time hearing about Karmavaz makes me emotional because we are the first cohort doing it. Uh, so, I would like to share something about Amitav sir. It is genuinely my privilege to welcome Mr. Amitav Virmani, Amitav sir, the visionary founder and CEO of the Education Alliance. His organization drives meaningful change by fostering collaboration between governments and mission-driven organizations to improve learning outcomes nationwide. Beyond the Education Alliance, Amitav Sir's leadership extend across esteemed institutions, serving on the board of the Children's Book Trust, SRF Foundation, Teach for India Delhi, the Blind Relief Association, and many more. His dedication to education and social impact is further recognized through prestigious fellowships, including ASPIN, Ashoka, and ENCORE. Today, we have the extraordinary opportunity to hear directly from him, to explore the crucible of his experiences, to understand his bold visions for systematic reforms, and to observe the wisdom he has gathered along his remarkable journey. Now, I would like to extend our warm welcome to Amitav sir. Sir, now the space is yours.
Thank you, Sakshi and Jyoti and Sneha. Let me first start by congratulating all three of you for kicking this off so professionally. I cannot believe that you are recent graduates of college and in your first year of work. You seem like thorough professionals. So, fabulous job. This is not easy. If I was you, I would be nervous. I'd be shaking. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be calling for somebody to help me, but well done. So, congratulations on that. Secondly, I want to say a big hello to all the Karam Sakhis. I've heard so much about all of you. I have not had the opportunity to meet any of you for that matter, but I hope that someday I'll meet you in person and get to interact with you and hear your stories, because that's really what inspires me more than anything else. I've had the wonderful privilege of mentoring three Karam Fellows over the last few years, all of whom are wonderful young ladies who are doing brilliant in their respective fields. And I'm honored to be able to support them in their journeys. And someday maybe I'll share more about those stories as well. What I do want to do today is slightly different to what the theme suggests. It talks about education reform through innovation. And I'm happy to talk about that as well. But if you really want to know what I do and what all I've worked on, you can go to my website and you can get that information. So I'm not going to bore you so much with what we've done, but I will rather focus on what I feel you can leave with and what you can benefit from during this talk. And I'll break this up into sort of distinct parts. The first part is a small exercise that I would like to do with all of you. So if you have a pen and paper handy, please get it. I'll wait for 10 seconds for you to get a pen and paper, because I want you to just, or you can even do it in your memory. There's no calculations required, but I want you to be honest when we do this exercise, because I'd like each of you to give a response back in the chat box when I ask you these questions. Yeah. So what we're going to start by doing is we're all going to run a 100-meter race. It's an imaginary race. This is a race of life. Okay. You're all comfortable with English? Thumbs up. Okay. I'll try and toggle between English and Hindi. So we're running this race of life and we're all standing at the starting line where we have to run 100 meters. Clear? Every time I ask you a question, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. When you answer the first question, if your answer is yes, you move 10 meters ahead. If your answer is no, you stay at the same line. Then I'll ask you the next question. If your answer is yes, you move another 10 meters. If your answer is no, you stay at the same line. All right. At the end of 5 questions, I'm going to ask you to respond and tell me where you've reached with regard to moving ahead or not moving ahead. What is the number of meters that you have moved ahead, which then becomes your starting line. Everyone got it? Okay, let's start the race. Question number 1. have you had 2 years of pre-primary education before grade 1? Did you go to an Anganwadi? Did you go to a Balwadi? Did you go to some kind of a creche or a private school before you came to grade 1? If your answer is yes, move 10 meters. You don't have to tell me right now. Just move 10 meters ahead. Question number 2. Did you go to a good quality primary school? By that I mean that you had a teacher right through the 5 years you were in school. Your teachers came to class, they taught you, you had good material to work with, you had a good learning environment, it was safe, and you felt that this is a good quality school. Did you have that? If yes, move 10 meters ahead. If not, stay where you are. Question number 3. Did you have a good quality secondary school? By that I mean, were you able to do the subjects of your choice, whether it was the arts or the humanities or sciences or whatever it is that you wanted to choose? Did the school offer that to you and did they teach you that well? If yes, move 10 meters ahead. If no, stay where you are. Question number 4. Did you go to a good quality college or are you at a good quality college? Are you doing the course of your choice? Is it an honors course? Is it a reputed college like Delhi University or a good quality private college? The answer is yes, move 10 meters ahead. If no, stay where you are. And the last question is, have you had an English medium education all throughout? Okay. And are you now, do you consider yourself well versed in the English language? The answer is yes, move ahead. Okay. So I've asked 5 questions. My questions are over. In the chat box, tell me where you're standing in this 100-meter race that we are running of life. Just put a number. So the best you can be at is 50 meters because I've asked you 5 questions. So the ones I'm assuming are written 40 meters have got to 60 meters. They have to run a 60-meter race. They've moved 40 meters ahead. The ones who have got to 50 meters have answered yes to all questions. So I've got 40, 50, 30, 30, 50, 30, 40, 10. Excellent. A lot of you are at 50. A lot of you are at 40. So on average, you're between 40 and 50, between 30 and 50, correct? Okay. So what's the good news? The good news is that only 7% of 250 million children who go to school are at 50 meters today. Only 7% have answered yes to all the 5 questions above. Okay. So the good news is you are amongst the 7%. Makes you feel happy? You're leading the race right now, right? Because some of them are at 30. In fact, some of them here are at 30, some are at 40. So they're 10 meters behind you in this race of life. Some are at 10. There are many, many meters behind you. Some of them may be at 0. The bad news is that even though it's only 7% of 250 million, that's still 20 million of you that are standing on the 50-meter line. Right? So 20 million of you have the same education. 20 million of you have primary school, pre-primary school, secondary school, English, college. It's all there. So recognize that it's a competitive world out there because there are not that many jobs. There are not that many good jobs for all these 20 million to get the job of their choice. Right? So what I want to talk to you about today is what is going to give you that competitive edge. What is it that you need to focus on now moving on when you've got 50 meters left to run till you for the rest of your life? What should you focus on? Because 20 million children have got, in fact, in this group itself, The average is between 40 to 50. So you're all the same. For me, you're all the same, whether you're Sakshi or you're Soni or you're Sneha or you're Anushka or you're Sneha or you're Bhavna or you're Shruti, doesn't matter. Those are just different names, but you're all the same, right? So what we're going to focus on today is what I have seen over the last 16 years of my journey working in education, in what I think makes the difference to give you that competitive edge. But before I focus on that, I think it's also important for you to know some statistics about India's education. You know, when we grow up, we only know about our school and we know about our teachers, and we think every school is like the school we've gone to. And I'm very happy to see that all of you have had a good schooling. And I'm very happy to know that all of you are in college and that a lot of you have reached the 50-meter mark. But do you think that's what every child in this country gets? No. So I want to give you some statistics and I'll give them at a very high level so you'll understand them. Okay. First and foremost, how many schools do you think are in our country? Let's take a quick poll. In millions. Put it in the chat box. Anyone? How many schools across India? Five million. Okay. Not too bad. That's a great guess because sometimes I get people saying 2000. So the answer is 1.5 million. 15 lakh. There are 15 lakh schools in our country, of which about 10 lakh of them are run by government and 5 lakh are run by private. And some of you may have gone to government, some of you may have gone to private. So you know the mix. How many students attend these schools? From grade 1 to grade 12. 250 million. Right? That's why I told you that number, that 7% of 250 million actually make it through the entire school system and through college and finish. The rest all fall somewhere in between. Some fall in grade 3. I'm sure you have friends and you have people living in your communities who have dropped out of school in grade 5, in grade 8. किसी की शादी हो गई, किसी के पास पैसे नहीं है, किसी को घर में देखभाली करनी है. Right? At different points for different reasons, they keep dropping out. But there are 250 million children that come into the school system and that are in the school system in 1.5 million schools. There are 9.5 million teachers that are spread across our 1.5 million schools. Now, a very important comparison is the following. Which country do you think compares to India in terms of size? Which is one country that has a similar population?
China.
Someone said China? Correct. China, right? Has a similar population to India. Has a similar youth population to India as well. It has 260 million school-going children. How many schools do you think China has? We have 15 lakh schools. I told you. How many schools do you think China has? More or less? I heard someone say more through your lips. They actually have 3 lakh schools. We have 15 lakh schools. Number of schools India has. What does that tell you about our schools? That we've got so many schools that are spread across the country, which have very few children in them. Of our 15 lakh schools, 3 lakh schools have one teacher in them. Only one teacher. There are 30 children in that school. There are 4 children in grade 1, 3 children in grade 2, 6 children in grade 3, 7 children in grade 4. Therefore, total school population is 30, and therefore there's only one teacher to teach all these children. And there are 3 to 4 lakh such schools in our country. So imagine the plight of those children who go to these schools. Obviously, they won't make it through the school system. Obviously, they'll never make it through life. And they'll never run this race of life. Right? There are 700 universities across our country. And under the universities, there are 37,000 colleges. And I'm sure some of you attend those colleges. 70 million children in our country take private tuitions. I'm sure a lot of you also have taken private tuitions or currently also take private tuitions, but you still go to school. So the school is obviously not doing its job or your teachers are not doing their job. Therefore, you need support and you need to take private tuitions. There are 70 million million out of 250 million children, 1/3 the number of children who go to schools are actually taking tuitions. And the mix of government and private is 70% of the student population, the 250 million children, actually go to government schools. And the remainder 30% go to private schools. That's the split. Of course, it varies from state to state. In some states, it's 50-50. In some states, the trend is even reversing, where more children are now going to private schools than government schools, because the government schools are not delivering the kind of education that these people are looking for. So more private schools have sprung up. But on average, about 70% of students still attend government schools across our country, and the remainder attend private schools. Now, this is a very important thing. What is the quality of education? What is happening is, as far as learning is concerned, right? The 16 years that I have been working in the sector, I have read the same headline in the newspaper. It happens usually in the month of February, where this report called ASAR, which is the report.
I think it's Amitav sir's connection, right? Yeah. Amitav, I think there's something not okay. Okay, we'll wait for him to join in. He'll join back.
Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay, great. Apologies for that.
Amitav, I think there's something. We can't hear you. You're breaking out.
So what I was telling
Hmm?
you is an important study here called ASARI, and I have been reading this, not mistaken, since 2005. Is it my,
Yeah.
1 second, just hold on.
Yeah. I think you'll have to, yeah.
It should be better now. Sorry about that. I just had to switch my Wi-Fi. So ASAR, I was telling you about ASAR, and ASAR gets released in February of every year. Now, what has ASAR been saying for the last 20 years? It's essentially the same headline. The headline reads as follows: 50% of children in grade 5, and this is across India, it's done across 700 districts of India, it's done out of school, so it's got nothing to do with a government school or a private school, it's all children. So it's a sample, but it's across enough children so that it captures what all children would be doing if we were to extrapolate that data. And what it basically says is 50% of students in grade 5 cannot read a grade 2 text. And that grade 2 text is in their mother tongue. It's not in English. It could be in Hindi, it could be in Kannada, it could be in Tamil, it could be in Malayalam, right? 50% of children in grade 5 cannot do a simple division sum, 24 divided by 3. So think about this, right? If 50% of our children in grade 5 are not able to read, write, and do basic level numeracy, then how are they going to succeed in life? And that is a big, big glaring problem. So I wanted to share some of these statistics with you so that you are aware of what you have. And I was very happy to read that you're at the 40-meter line and the 50-meter line, because it seems you are not one of those victims of the sad state of affairs in our country with regard to education delivery, right? You haven't fallen prey to that. Or even if you have, you found a way to be sitting here today. You're all in college. You're all pursuing a higher education. And that's fantastic. Now the time is for you to do something with this. And consider this a privilege. Because even though you're in the 50% bracket and you're up ahead there, or the 50-meter line, and there may be 20 million other students with you, you are privileged. Because so many of those children have not got that kind of primary foundational education. Therefore, they have no chance of getting a secondary education. And they will have to rely on some kind of a vocation and some kind of a skill that they may acquire and never be able
Amitav, we have
to
Amitav, we again have an issue.
fulfill their need. And a child has the right to. And so that's what I want.
Amitav, we lost you. Sorry. Oops. Okay, he'll join back. Oh, there he is.
I'm terribly sorry. I don't know why this is happening. It doesn't
Don't
help.
worry, don't worry. I think we
I'll
lost.
keep coming back
Yeah.
in if
Yeah.
I don't have. So don't abandon me in case I
No,
don't.
no, we will not. We can never.
So coming back to statistics, I've shared some broad level statistics. Hopefully these are to some of you new, some of you may have known these numbers, but it's always good to know, because you should know where you fall as far as these statistics are concerned, and the fact that you're privileged to not be a victim to one of these inefficiencies of our system. So coming back to the question I said, and the reason I asked you that 100-meter race and why we did that exercise is competitive edge, right? I want to focus now, maybe over the next 20 minutes, and then happy to sort of open it up to questions and more of a conversation, is to give you my thoughts on what I believe is the importance of an education and what I believe a true quality education is, so that you can succeed in life, right? And I'll talk about three things. Again, may not be new to you, but I'll reiterate them because I've seen this time and again in so many students across the world. And therefore, I'm sharing my observations. First, I'll talk about knowledge. Second, I'll talk about skills. And third, I'll talk about behaviors or attitudes, right? And in each of them, I'll give you 5 pointers that I think are critical. And then I'll give you the rationale as to where I feel all of you should put your energies in this race that is still yet to be run, right? Given that you have got a head start amongst many, but there are 20 million running the race with you. So how are you going to get to the 60-meter mark and the 70-meter mark, right? And that's what I want you to focus on. So first, the 5 pointers on knowledge. First and foremost, local and global awareness, right? When you're acquiring knowledge, you may be doing BCom, you may be doing history, you may be doing biology, you may be doing English, doesn't matter. That's great. That's a subject. But what aspect of knowledge should you acquire? Local and global awareness, and how it has an influence on the world. Today, you know how dependent we are on other countries. We live in a borderless world. One country can make a decision. Recently, the US made a decision on imposing trade tariffs, and you saw what happened to India. It had nothing to do with our people, our politicians, our leaders, our business people. It was just a statement made by the head of state of another country, and it impacted us. If you don't know this, you're blind, you're foolish, you can never operate. So having both local, which is of course very important, but global knowledge, awareness. Second, digital and financial literacy. Everyone talks about digital literacy and PowerPoint seekh lo, ye seekh lo. But do you realize the pace at which technology is evolving? Do you realize? I don't know, Jyoti and Sneha and Sakshi, how you made this PowerPoint presentation today of 3 slides that you presented. I'm not sure if you went to PowerPoint and did it, or you gave 5 instructions to Chat GPT and said, make this PowerPoint for me, and it did it in 15 seconds for you. Right? But technology is evolving rapidly, much faster than you would like. And you need to keep up with that. If you have to be digitally literate, because when you come to the workplace, if you're not digitally literate, you are as good as illiterate. And the same thing applies to financial literacy. I made a big mistake in my life when I was young and I was your age. I did not have the same urgency of financial literacy as I should have. When I got my first paycheck at the age of 24, I spent it all because I was so happy. And I didn't think about savings. And I didn't think the importance of, I didn't understand the importance of compound interest, which all of you have studied in school. Right? But being financially literate and understanding how to save and understanding how to spend and understanding how to create budgets, whether it's for your house or for your company or for any organization that you may be part of, financial literacy is critical because it will set you up for success or failure. Right? Third, environmental awareness. Right? I'm talking about the knowledge aspects of your education. And I'm not talking about subject matter. So pardon me here because I'm not going to say BCom is important and account. That's a given. जो आप पढ़ रहे हो वो तो आपको पढ़ना ही चाहिए. But that's not enough. Right? Third, environmental awareness. Are you aware that there are forests in India and forests in Amazon that are being cleaned out so that we can make big buildings and big factories and set up more industry? At what cost? Will it hurt us or will it benefit us? Are you aware that we burn crop and that we... Sorry, someone was not on mute. Are you aware that we allow industry to pollute? Are we aware that we allow our cars to pollute? Are we aware that we burn crop when we harvest crop and we pollute the environment? How do you react to this? I know that most people, how do they react to pollution in Delhi? And we're all residents of NCR. How do we react to pollution in Delhi? We wear a mask. What a great reaction. So अगर कुछ खराब होता है उसको accept कर लो, अपने आप को किसी तरीके से बचा लो. But you're not actually thinking, how do I stop pollution? How do I prevent this from happening? It's an unnecessary evil. Why do I even need it? Why should I have a purifier in my house and a mask to go to school or go to college when I should find ways to correct it? So be environmentally conscious because the climate is burning. The planet is burning. Climate is changing. Right? So if you don't have knowledge about this and you don't do anything about it, you will be living in a very sad world. Fourth, analyzing and interpreting data. Today you understand, I'm assuming all of you are on Instagram. I'm assuming a lot of you are on Facebook. A lot of you are on social media, right? A lot of these companies are only wanting to grab you and get you on their sites to collect more data and understand कि सोनी क्या करती है, मुस्कान क्या करती है, स्मृति क्या करती है, स्नेहा क्या करती है, वो कौन सा कंटेंट देख रही है, वो कौन से एड पे क्लिक कर रही है, वो कहां पे जाके स्क्रॉल करके रुक जाती है और उसको पढ़ती है या देखती है. They're understanding you. So you need to also be an expert in data because the world is moving towards big data, whether it is Flipkart or Amazon or a store that you go and buy at, they're all collecting data. And then that data needs to be analyzed and interpreted. So if you are good at doing this, anyone can collect data, anyone can look at data, but how do you interpret? What does it mean if somebody is doing this? And what can I do with this information? Right? That's the fourth aspect of acquiring knowledge. And the fifth is to make these interdisciplinary connections. Not everything has a unidimensional answer to it, right? If you do you watch the news? All of you watch the news or you read the newspapers, and something comes up on the news with regard to war in a country, or something comes up with regard to an announcement by the finance minister in the budget. You have to look at the interdisciplinary aspects of what you are hearing and what you are absorbing. What is the historical context to this that I have just? What is the political context to what I have just heard? What is the economic context to what I have just heard? And be able to look at this information and absorb information from multiple aspects, not just one, right? Not just one, because everything is interrelated and interdisciplinary. Those are my 5 things with regard to knowledge. Okay. And please feel free to put your thoughts on the chat. We'll scroll through at the end. If there are questions that come up or observations or just something you want to put down as a response to what I've said, it'll be great for others to read and for us to go through at the end. Second, I'll talk about skills. Again, 5 aspects. First and foremost, critical thinking and problem solving. According to me, the most important skill that you need to acquire, because you are entering an unknown world. You are going to enter a world, and now most of you have finished school and are in college. So you're entering that world, but that world is so rapidly changing, like I told you, and I gave you an example of technology. If you don't know how to problem solve and critically think, you'll be redundant. Your knowledge will become redundant in no time. Right? And remember that 50-meter mark that you're at. These are now the levers with which you will differentiate yourself. So critical thinking, problem solving. Second, communication and collaboration. I can bet you, all of you who are at the 50-meter mark right now, if I were to interview you and have a conversation with you and speak to you, some of you will stand out above the others because of your ability to articulate and express yourself and communicate effectively, succinctly. So if you can't do that, it doesn't matter if you have 100% marks in school. It doesn't matter. You have to be able to speak well and communicate well and express yourself well and your point of view well, right? And collaboration. We're in a world where nothing is done alone and nothing is done just amongst people that you like. Today, you may be doing your homework or doing your project work with your friends. कि मैं इसके साथ बैठ जाऊंगी, इसके साथ कर लूंगी, क्यों मेरी इसके साथ बनती है, तो हम दोनों दोस्त हैं, हम दोनों इकट्ठे रहते हैं, नजदीक रहते हैं, तो हम होमवर्क करके सबमिट कर देंगे प्रोजेक्ट वर्क. But the world doesn't work like that. You will work with people who are from different genders. You'll work with people who come from different religious backgrounds. You'll come with people who come with different ethnicities and languages. You'll work with people from different countries and different points of view. If you don't know how to collaborate, you'll be asked to leave the room. Third skill, creativity and innovation. Right? How are you going to be able to differentiate yourself? By being more creative. If I ask you all the same to write an essay on the same topic, right? मेरे स्कूल में मैं आपको एक instance बताता हूँ. I got a punishment once from a senior. Usually seniors used to punish us. Some used to punish us just by saying, go take a round of the field or do 20 push-ups or hold 2 heavy books and stand in T position. But this one senior gave me a very interesting punishment. He woke me up at 6 in the morning. I used to be in a boarding school. He woke me up at 6 in the morning and he gave me a topic of an essay. And he said, इसको 2 घंटे में लिख के वापस आओ. और वो हिंदी का स्कॉलर होया करता था और मेरी हिंदी बहुत खराब थी स्कूल में. तो उनका जो विषय उन्होंने मुझे दिया वो था, अगर न्यूटन के सर पे सेब के बजाय कटहल गिरा होता तो क्या होता. तो मैंने तो पहले उससे पूछा कि संजीव ये कटहल क्या होता है. फिर उसने मेरे को बताया कटहल क्या होता है, जैक फ्रूट. फिर मैंने अपना थोड़ा सर खरोचा और बोला यार इस पे मैं कैसे विजुअल. द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज ही वाज टेस्टिंग माय क्रिएटिविटी. ही वाज पुशिंग द बाउंड्रीज ऑफ सेइंग के ये भी पनिशमेंट होती है क्योंकि तू क्रिएटिव बंदा नहीं है, जाके सीख, लिखना सीख और सोचना सीख. सो व्हेन इफ आई गिव ऑल ऑफ यू दैट टॉपिक, इफ न्यूटन के सिर पे सेब के बजाय कटहल गिरा होता, अब मैं पढ़ूंगा आप क्या लिखोगे, मैं देखूंगा आप कैसे सोचते हो, और वो पढ़ने में आपकी क्रिएटिविटी आएगी. और फिर मैं बोलूंगा अगर यार मैं अनुष्का को हायर करूं, ये तो बड़ी क्रिएटिव है, ये तो मेरी संस्था के लिए बहुत बढ़िया होगी, बिकॉज शी इज अल्टरनेटिव थिंकर, शी इज अ रेडिकल थिंकर, शी इज नॉट रन ऑफ द मिल. दीज अदर 50 गर्ल्स हैव ऑल रिटन द सेम बोरिंग थिंग, right? So work on that. How do you become creative? How do you innovate? Fourth, resilience. Probably the biggest trait missing in this generation, and I'm sorry to call it out. Today I was in a school in the morning, and there was a teacher who came to me and she said, Amitav sir, I'm retiring today and it's a momentous day for me, but I also want to tell you that after 43 years of working, it doesn't feel like I have worked even a single day. And I said, आप मेरे को अपनी हिस्ट्री बताओ, आपने कहाँ कहाँ काम किया है, वेयर ऑल, व्हाट वाज योर जर्नी. शी सेड मैंने इसी स्कूल में 43 साल लगाए हैं एज अ टीचर इन वन इंस्टीट्यूशन. Think of what knowledge and what experience and what contribution that person made to that institution. I mean, I felt like saying that, you are the institution, having spent 43 years here. The point I'm trying to make is that today I see youth wanting to jump from one place to another or jump from one problem to another because आप सब वो Instagram वर्ल्ड में रहते हो, वो रील्स वाले वर्ल्ड में रहते हो, जहां 2 सेकंड देखा और नेक्स्ट पे गए, जहां एक पोस्ट देखा, लाइक किया और नेक्स्ट पे गए. तो कैसे टिकोगे आप एक चीज पे? एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट that's a bad thing, but you need to solve problems, to show dedication, to show commitment, to show resilience. You need to have that commitment and say, I will stick at this problem till I solve it. I will stick at this organization till I have made a mark, right? Very, very. And the ability to adapt to different environments. If you're not adaptable and you don't have an adaptive nature, you'll struggle. If you stay rigid and say, oh, sorry, I don't do this, मैं वहां नहीं जाती, मैं ये नहीं करूंगी, मैं उसके साथ नहीं बात करती, you will be obsolete very soon. Last skill, time management. There's a saying, if you want to get something done, give it to the busiest person. What does that mean? That means busy people organize themselves so well that no matter what you give them, they'll get it done. But अगर आप वेले को कुछ दे दो ना, वो काम नहीं करेगा, उसको करना ही नहीं आता है, उसके पास टाइम ही नहीं है, उसके शेड्यूल में है ही नहीं कि मेरा टू डू लिस्ट है, सुबह मैं ये करूंगा, दोपहर को मैं वो करूंगा, शाम को मैं ये करूंगा, अब ये नया टास्क आ गया, इसको मैं कहां बीच में डालूं. वेले के पास तो वही कैलेंडर ही नहीं है. So manage your time well and organize yourself, right? These are the 5 skills. And now I'll move to behaviors. And I'm telling you these in order of what I would think are importance from least to most, because I'm trying to get you to think about how you're going to stand out, how you're going to create that competitive edge. So when you look at knowledge and you go back to knowledge, you'll recognize that everyone can acquire this knowledge. Digital literacy, financial literacy, सब कर लेंगे. Global awareness, अखबार सब पढ़ लेंगे. But ये कटहल वाला सवाल सब नहीं कर पाएंगे. उसमें मेरी क्रिएटिविटी मेरे को यूनिक बनाएगी. ठीक है? So honing your skills is more critical than just acquiring simple knowledge or reading up something. Right? Now, last, behaviors. First, self-awareness and reflection. How often do you, in a day, pause at the end of the day, middle of the day, start of the day, and reflect. How often do you actually introspect? हम बाहर दूसरों को फिंगर पॉइंट करने में माहिर हैं. ओ शी इज दिस, ही इज दिस, मैडम इज दिस, ये संस्था वो है, कॉलेज में वो नहीं है. बट अंदर हम कितना इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करते हैं, अपने आप पे कितने फिंगर पॉइंट करते हैं, और अपने आप से कितने सवाल पूछते हैं कि ये क्यों हुआ और इसको मैं कैसे इंप्रूव करूं, और मेरे व्हाई इज माय माइंड थिंकिंग लाइक दिस. लेट मी जस्ट सिट डाउन एंड breathe deeply and think about this. How often do I do that? Very important behavior. Second, leadership and taking initiative. Do you showcase behaviors of leadership? Will you take, if I were to, I had a very interesting poll today amongst my school group.
Amitav, we lost you again.
चर्चा.
Amitav? Okay.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Interesting poll.
I think this is also God's way of giving everyone a little breather from me. So, मैं पोल की बात कर रहा था. हमारे स्कूल ग्रुप पे एक पोल हुआ. तो विषय पे दो सवाल थे. वन वाज इन फेवर ऑफ द टॉपिक एंड वन वाज अगेंस्ट द टॉपिक. तो वोट किसी ने कहा कि एक पोल लेते हैं एंड 65 of us, let's all poll for it. तो पोल शुरू हुआ. अब फेवर ऑफ द टॉपिक वाज द इजी आंसर, और व्हाटएवर, फेवर ऑफ द टॉपिक वाज व्हाट मोस्ट पीपल वर ग्रेविटेटिंग टुवर्ड्स. तो 40 लोगों ने पोल लिया और 35 लोगों ने ऑलरेडी फेवर ऑफ द टॉपिक में जवाब दिया. एवरीवन फेवर 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 फेवर. 3 लोगों ने बोला इनडिफरेंट, ना फेवर ना अगेंस्ट. Now I wanted to poll against, but I was the only one. Now I said I'll stand out amongst the crowd. लोग मेरे पे अटैक मारेंगे. तो मैंने सोचा 1 घंटे के लिए कि मैं पोल मारूं कि नहीं करूं, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, let me just stay silent. But I said no. If I have a point of view, it doesn't matter if the whole world thinks differently. My point of view is my point of view, and I'll express it. And that is my leadership trait. That I'll stand out. And when people ask me, why have you voted mentality?
Amitav, we've lost you again.
5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Lost you again.
Back?
Back. Yeah, you're back. You'll have to repeat what you said. We didn't hear that.
Am I back? Am I back? I think I'm back now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are. Yes.
I'm back. Yeah. So really apologies for this. So coming back to that poll, 31 voted in favor. I'm the only one who voted against. But I got myself to putting that vote even though I was the Lone Ranger, because I believed that my opinion mattered. I believed that I had to take that initiative and showcase my leadership quality by having a very strong rationale to back up why I voted against. Right? And I very proudly voted against. Guess what happened after I voted against? Many people followed me and started voting against. Those who were waiting कि यार ये अगेंस्ट वाला वोट कैसे डालें. सो लीडरशिप वो स्टांस लेता है, बट इमेजिन वो लीडर बहुत लोगों को इन्फ्लुएंस भी करता है जो डरते हैं. तो आप वो लीडर बनो, शो दैट बिहेवियर. सेकेंड पॉइंट, सॉरी, थर्ड पॉइंट, वी टॉक अबाउट एम्पथी. Empathy is a very loosely used word. You must be empathetic, right? I don't think I need to speak to the KARM team, the KARM fellows, or the KARM Sakhis about empathy. You are the ambassadors of empathy. I don't know people like you, I wish I know more people like you. I wish I learn more from people like you, because जो आप लोगों में हैं, अगर दुनिया सीख ले ना, we would be a much better place. You understand what empathy is. You understand what care is. What today Karam Awaz is doing for all you girls is empathy. It was the fellows at Karam who reached out to the team at Karam and said, ma'am, Radhika ma'am, Vinita ma'am, Anushka ma'am, there are so many more girls like us. Unka kya hoga? That's empathy. That's showing that हम रेस अकेले नहीं दौड़ेंगे और हम अकेले नहीं जीतेंगे. ये वो अनफेयर रेस है. अगर आप इसी रेस में से लोगों को बाहर कर दो, वो अनफेयर रेस है. सब भागेंगे. उसमें अगर हम जीते, वो हमारी, इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ आवर हार्ड वर्क एंड बिकॉज ऑफ आवर परसेवियरेंस. बट लेट देम एटलीस्ट रन द रेस. दैट इज एम्पैथी, राइट? So learn from this and be grateful for what you are receiving from this and pass it on even further. I'm waiting for the day when Karam Sakhis start their own Karam Awaz. You know, that is when this will go viral. और ये करम संस्था खुद ब खुद बंद हो जाएगी क्योंकि आप लोग चलाओगे इसको. No greater thing than an NGO shutting down because the world is doing the work of the NGO. That's empathy. Fourth, curiosity and lifelong learning. Does learning stop at the end of college? Does learning stop at the end of a master's degree? Does learning stop at the end of a PhD? सबसे बड़ा फ्लॉ है हमारे सिस्टम में कि हम सोचते हैं कि आई एम एजुकेटेड. You are always being educated. You have to remain lifelong curious. I today learn from all of you. जब मैं अपनी मेंटीज के साथ बात करता हूं, उनसे जितना मैं सीखता हूं, मैंने अभी तक जिंदगी में नहीं सीखा. राइट? सो लाइफ, बी क्यूरियस एंड बी अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर. डोंट थिंक मास्टर्स कर लिया, पीएचडी कर ली, अब तो हम सीख ले, अब जाके रोप जमाते हैं दूसरों पे. राइट? So curiosity and lifelong learning. And the last behavior is integrity and ethics. You know, the hardest thing to earn is trust. Hardest thing to earn in this world is trust. And guess what? It's also the easiest thing to lose. एक चुटकी में you can lose a life's worth of work if you break someone's trust. And that shows your moral character. That shows whether you are an ethical human being or not. So these are the behaviors. Okay, I know we are coming close to the end of time, but let me just recap. What I wanted to say with regard to these 5 points I mentioned on knowledge, 5 skills I mentioned, and 5 behaviors I mentioned is knowledge सब acquire करेंगे, जो 50 मीटर लाइन पे भी हैं और जो 0 मीटर लाइन पे भी हैं, वो सब करेंगे. It's available in colleges, it's available online, it's available through courses and through tuitions. सब कर लेंगे. आप भी करो. I'm not saying that. Skills सब नहीं कर पाएंगे because कई लेजी होते हैं, कई कहते हैं छोड़ दो, किसके पास टाइम है ये सब विषय लिखने का कटहल वटहल पे. बट कई 10 बारी वो कटहल का विषय लिखेंगे और बोलेंगे ये 10वां वाला मेरे को बड़ा अच्छा लगा. Honing those skills is dependent on you. And behaviors is a life choice. आपको सुबह 10 बजे उठना है, उठो. आपको बंक मारना है, मारो. आपको गंदा खाना खाना है, खाओ. आपको योगा नहीं करनी है, मत करो. These are behaviors. The behaviors you instill today in life and what you keep and what you discipline yourself with is what will make you. Right? And these skills and behaviors are going to differentiate you and help you win that race and help you be amongst the leaders in that race. It's not going to be just what you're acquiring sitting in a classroom today. All right. So with that, I will close. Hopefully that was not too boring or too dull. But more importantly, like I said, I went a little off topic. The topic of, education reform through innovation is something I can talk about at another day. Our website is available. वहां पे जाके देखो. हमने ये सब चीजें जिसकी मैंने बात करी है, whether it is honing English language skills for children who are first generation learners, or it is creating skill based programs in school. Some of you may have attended the schools of specialized excellence in Delhi, B.R. Ambedkar के उन ऐसे ऐसे programs पे हम काम करते हैं, because what we are trying to do is work on knowledge, skills and behaviors. And that's what my organization has been doing for the last 10 years. We work in 5 different states with almost 2 lakh schools, and all the schools in those 5 respective states, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Delhi, और गवर्नमेंट पे ही ध्यान देते हैं, because I think the kind of children that are coming to government schools are the future. The future sits there, and you all are part of that. You all are the ones who are hungry. You are the ones who have want to see success and make a life of yourselves. And I want to work with people like you. So I will pause there. I'll stop there, and I'll hand it back to Jyoti, Sneha, and Sakshi.
Thank you so much, sir. Sneha, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Uh, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Sneha, you are audible. Just wanted to make a request. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this. And I would like to request all the Sakis to put their questions on the chat. We'll take that up. And yes, Sneha, you can continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, Jyoti. So, sir, on behalf of Karmavas, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for sharing such valuable insights on education today and your thoughts on the importance of quality of education. And you're saying that we are privileged to being in the 40 meter to 50 meter of the race really inspired us to continue to 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 continue this what we are doing, and also to contribute as we become successful in our career. Your words on local and global knowledge, digital and financial literacy, environmental awareness, and data interpretation were truly enlightening. You also emphasized key skills like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, resilience, and time management. I remember being having to struggle with time management a lot uh, around 2024, and I made a whole schedule where I settled that yes, I have to be uh, really really focused on what I do. So I made a whole schedule, and I think now my time management skills are okay. So definitely these are something really important. And you also emphasized on having integrity, having to have self awareness of your own self, which before judging someone else, and having curiosity always, and being empathetic towards others. Your words have inspired all of our sakis who are preparing to step into the real world and the real world challenges. A big thank you to you, and a big thank you to all the attendees, and also Radhika ma'am and Vinita ma'am for being here and supporting us throughout this session. And thank you so much for engaging and having curiosity, and let's carry forward the learnings from today and continue to grow as a community forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Sir, we also have 2 questions for you in the chat box.
Yes, I just saw those.
Yeah.
I'm happy to, if people are willing to stay back, for those who can stay back, I will answer these 2 questions. And if there are more questions, I'm happy to stay on even longer. So the first question is about our education system focuses on theoretical knowledge, but real world demands practical skills. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I was trying to tell you, is that uh, theory is not enough, but theory is how our system is currently designed, right? The good news is, and sadly, you are not a beneficiary of that, this system is slowly changing. CBSE, as we currently know it, is designing a more revised approach to assessments and pedagogy. They are trying to look at how the IB system has been designed. So schools that are under the CBSE banner will have a more practical, project-based, real-world challenges-based approach to teaching. That will take some time, but I think everyone is now recognizing that the current system is not working. It's not enough. It's too theoretical, and we need to change it. Um, what can you do, even though you're still in the system and you're still doing theory? I think you need to maybe be part of, I don't know if your colleges have clubs, like a consulting club, or maybe you can set up a case solving club. There are, in my college we used to do this. We would solve cases, we would take on real world challenges, and some of us would come together and actually say, how can we solve these challenges? So those are initiatives that you will have to take yourself, because your college or your school is currently not doing that, and you can't change it, and you'll be gone by the time it changes. So unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. The second question is about how do we as students help other students and children gain quality education? I think start with one child. Let's not be too ambitious, because there are 250 million children out there. But let's start with one child. If there is a child in your community, in your neighborhood, your neighbor, who you think is not getting a quality education, why don't you adopt that child from a learning perspective? मैंने आपको बोला 70 मिलियन बच्चे ट्यूशन लेते हैं. आप उनके ट्यूटर बन जाओ, आप उनके गाइड बन जाओ, आप उनके मेंटर बन जाओ. If each one can teach one, it will benefit the world. So start with one. After one, you may be able to do 5. After 5, you may be able to start a tuition center. I always encouraged even my mentees to think about helping, and they helped their siblings, they helped their younger brothers and sisters, and they insisted that they go to good schools and get a good vocation and get a good job. So do the same thing. Yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, more questions have come. I believe that comparative exams are not designed appropriately to assess an individual's capability. So what is your stance on these type of exams and how to break the cycle of... Absolutely. I absolutely believe that summative assessment in the form of an exam done at the end of a year is the poorest way to evaluate a child's aptitude and intelligence and capabilities, right? And that needs to change. And a lot of the work we are doing is around that. We are saying, but the unfortunate thing with regard to this is, to change it, you need to have the right set of resources available in a school to do it. अगर आप एक टीचर को बोलोगे अकेले वो 30 बच्चे को इवैल्यूएट करे पूरे साल भर, और ये बच्चे एक कक्षा में नहीं है, वो 5 कक्षा में बैठते हैं, आप अब सबको इवैल्यूएट करो, मुझे बताओ कौन सा कहां पे है, वो नहीं कर सकती. तो पहले तो हमें वो स्थिति बदलनी है. अब मेरा गोल है, मेरी ड्रीम है इंडिया के लिए, कि पहले हर एक क्लासरूम में, इंडिया के हर एक क्लासरूम में एक टीचर डालो. Even that is a distant reality today. I told you 4 lakh schools in our country have only one teacher in them. Forget about one class having a teacher in it. So first we have to start by resourcing. It can be done. I'm working on this. It can be done. It can be done with the same 9.5 million teachers. We don't even need more teachers. But guess what? We need fewer schools. We've got too many schools in our country. और काफी लोग मेरे से नाराज भी होते हैं जब मैं ये बोलता हूं, बिकॉज वो कहते हैं अरे स्कूल कैसे बंद कर सकते हो आप, हम कहाँ जाएंगे. मेरा बच्चा तो बस में स्कूल जाता है 30 किलोमीटर दूर. तो मैं गवर्नमेंट को बोलता हूं आप बसें लगा दो, ताकि सारे बच्चे अच्छे अच्छे बड़े बड़े स्कूलों में जा सकें, जहां पे कंप्यूटर्स भी हैं, जहां पे प्लेग्राउंड्स भी हैं, जहां पे साइंस लैब्स भी हैं. अब 1.5 मिलियन स्कूल्स में तो हम ये नहीं कर सकते ना. So there's a lot of work to be done to get to some of the things you're talking about, which is curriculum improvement, which is about moving away from theoretical to practical based, project based, which is moving away from summative assessment to more formative assessment, जहां हर रोज आपकी असेसमेंट होती है, हर रोज आपका प्रोग्रेस ट्रैक किया जाता है एक ट्रैकर पे. पर उसके लिए मुझे 4 टीचर चाहिए क्लासरूम में, एक नहीं. वो भी मुमकिन है. So these are all higher order these things, but sadly we as a country today are far behind. But if you all join this race of improving quality education for all, I know in my lifetime I won't solve it, maybe in your lifetime also you won't solve it, but somewhere we'll solve it. It's like gaining independence. It's the same thing. 200 साल लड़े थे तब जाके हम जीते थे. वो पहला बंदा नहीं था जिसने आवाज उठाई थी, but eventually जाके हुआ था. So it's same. Make a change, but fight for that change. What are the challenges you come across while working with students, schools, and government? Many. I mean, it's very hard for me to quantify, but many. Students, sadly, not being given the right tools and the right resources, not being given the right skills, not being trained to succeed in the real world. Imagine, I just told you, you people are at the 50-meter mark, some are at the 20-meter mark, but even that's not enough. Shouldn't I be giving you these skills? Shouldn't I be teaching you about behaviors? Shouldn't I set you up so that 10 companies are ready to hire you at the end of your college life? They're ready to hire you. Shouldn't be the other way around, where 10 people are vying for one job. Do you know 2 years ago, there were 2.5 crore, or I forget the number, maybe it was 2.5 thousand engineers who applied for the job of a bus conductor. क्यों इंजीनियरिंग करी? अब बस कंडक्टर ही बनना है क्योंकि है ही नहीं नौकरी. आप क्या सीख के आओ वो मेरे को तो चाहिए ही नहीं है द वर्क प्लेस. So there are a lot of issues that come with what we are. The government is not focusing enough on education. Make it a priority. Ask your local MLA and your local MP, मेरे स्कूल के लिए आप क्या करोगे? तभी जाके उसको, आप लोग अगर आवाज नहीं उठाओगे तो स्कूल्स कभी नहीं सुधरेंगे. If we accept status quo, you will get status quo. Sir, as we need to make certain CGPA in college, but what if we have skills which are required for certain job but not grade? So how can we cope up with that? Your employer typically will go beyond your CGPA. I employ a lot of people. I've told you, 10 resumes come to me with the same CGPA. अब मैं क्या करूं? What is on your resume that is exciting for me? Back to the कटहल. वो आपके 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 रेज्यूमे, वो कटहल वाला विषय का जवाब क्या है? क्या किया आपने लाइफ में जिसके बेसिस में मैं आपको बुलाऊं इंटरव्यू के लिए? सीजीपीए पे मैं नहीं बुलाऊंगा, उस पे तो आप पहले ही रिजेक्ट हो जाओगे. यू वोंट मेक इट टू द इंटरव्यू ओनली. डू समथिंग डिफरेंट. से मैंने अपनी बस्ती में पानी की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी, मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूं मैंने कैसे करी. मेरे को तो कोई नहीं मिलेगा विद 5.0 CGPA who's come and told me that they solved their water problem in their community. So that's how you need to do it. And no one is going to teach you how to do this. Take initiative, leadership. मैंने क्या बात करी? Be the one who stands up and does that, right? Sir, during your talk, the word victim stood out to me, sparking reflections on various ongoing incidents. Do you believe our education system plays a role in shaping this reality? Or how our educational background lacked in changing the perceptions, or is it merely a value ingrained over time? I mean, I said victim because, you know, who are victims? Victims are people who are at the wrong end of a particular task or an activity or an event, right? I believe, sadly, you are not you. Maybe you all are not the victims. Like I said, I think you managed to escape because you got good quality education and you are here and you had parents that cared about you and said focus on education. But there are too many children who don't know better. There are too many parents who don't know better. And they send their children to schools with the hope कि ये सब बदल जाएगा, सब सीख के आ जाएगा ये बच्चा, इंग्लिश भी सीख लेगा, कंप्यूटर भी सीख लेगा, नौकरी भी लग जाएगी. Those people are victims. बिकॉज उनको पता नहीं है उनको क्या मिल रहा है ना. और उनके माँ बाप बेचारे जानते भी नहीं है क्या मांगे. हमें तो पता ही नहीं, हम ही पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, हम क्या मांगेंगे स्कूल से? हमें तो लग रहा है स्कूल में ठीक हो गया. 12 साल निकल जाते हैं, फिर पता चलता है कि बच्चा तो अपना नाम भी नहीं लिख सकता. तो विक्टिम ही तो हुए ना उस इंसिडेंट के. So what measure we should adopt to build our critical thinking? I mean, you know, I think having a mentor in life is a very important thing. The one beautiful thing that the KARM team has done, in addition to providing girls with the scholarships to go to colleges, is giving them a mentor. That mentor is the person who is like a pencil का sharpener होता है ना, ये mentor sharpener है. वो आपकी नोक को तेज रखता है क्योंकि आप ये मेंटर को बड़े सवाल पूछते हो, मुश्किल सवाल पूछते हो, कभी कभार ऐसे सवाल पूछते हो जहां उनको भी जवाब नहीं पता होता है. So that helps, having this mentor in your life, someone you look up to, someone you aspire to be like, a role model. Get them to help you with this particular skill of building critical thinking, you know, because they will challenge you. You will give them something. Back to कटहल, आपने एक ऐसे लिखा, मैंने कहा ये तो मैंने 10 पढ़ चुका हूं ऐसे. वो वापस आपको भेजेगा और बोलेगा फिर से लिख. नॉट हैप्पी, नहीं, स्टिल नॉट हैप्पी, फिर से लिख, अलग सोच. You know, that also get online and see there are a lot of these quizzes, you know, which challenge your thinking. Lateral thinking के quiz, उनको पढ़ो. That will challenge your thinking के अलग कैसे सोचते हैं? ये तो बड़ा मेन स्ट्रीम आंसर है, बट इसको लैटरली कैसे सोचें? तो दैट हेल्प्स यू होन. I remember being in a classroom with over 70 students. Yes, absolutely. That's an example of a school where how could that poor teacher teach you? और 70 स्टूडेंट्स में कई पेस पे थे, कहीं पीछे थे, कहीं आगे चलते थे. वो टीचर किसको पढ़ाए? पीछे वालों को, बीच वालों को, कि आगे वालों को? तो इट्स नॉट इवन हर फॉल्ट ना. गलती तो सिस्टम की है कि 70 बच्चे डाले क्यों? 2 टीचर क्यों नहीं डाली? 3 टीचर क्यों नहीं डाली? इतने स्कूल, और उसी स्कूल के साथ हो सकता है क्लासरूम में सिर्फ 2 बच्चे हैं और वहां पे भी एक टीचर है, और यहाँ 70 बैठे हैं एक टीचर के साथ. दैट दिस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज lopsided. It's warped, which is why I told you 4 lakh schools have one teacher in them. And I've got 9.5 million teachers. और मेरे 1 लाख ही स्कूल हैं, 1.5 लाख स्कूल हैं. तो मैं अगर इस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को ठीक करूं तो हर एक क्लासरूम में एक टीचर आ जाएगी. और थोड़े कम भी कर दूं अपने स्कूल, और बड़े स्कूल बनाओ, बढ़िया स्कूल बनाओ. सारे टीचर्स, अगर आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, आई वाज इन अ रिमोट विलेज इन पौड़ी गढ़वाल रिसेंटली. वहां पे मैंने 4 स्कूल विजिट किए. पहले स्कूल में 32 बच्चे, एक टीचर. दूसरे स्कूल में 22 बच्चे, एक टीचर. तीसरे स्कूल में 18 बच्चे, 3 टीचर. चौथे स्कूल में 19-20 बच्चे, 2 टीचर. मैंने जाके वहां के विधायक को बोला, ऐसे सर अगर ये सारे बच्चों को हम कंसोलिडेट करके एक जगह पढ़ाएं तो 100 बच्चे होंगे और मेरे पास 6 टीचर होंगी. अब आप सोचो, 100 बच्चों को अगर मैंने 6 टीचर दे दी तो 15 बच्चे हो गए एक टीचर के पास, 17-18 बच्चे हो गए एक टीचर के पास. अभी एक टीचर के पास 22 बच्चे हैं जो 8 ग्रेड्स में है. तो क्यों ना हम ये चारों स्कूल, और ये 4 स्कूल 2 किलोमीटर की Sorry, someone is gone unmute. If you can mute yourself.
Yeah.
4 स्कूल 2 किलोमीटर की रेडियस में है. तो मैंने उनको बोला, हम एक बस लगा देंगे आपके लिए, और हम बच्चों को अपने घरों से इस बड़े स्कूल में लाएंगे. So if we can do more of this, you'll solve big problems. And if someone has a better way of doing this, I am happy to listen to you. I'm not saying this is the only idea. This is my idea. You come with your ideas. अभी तक 20 साल मेरे को हो गए ये काम करते हुए, अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं सुधरा. हेडलाइन तो वही है, 50% ऑफ चिल्ड्रन ग्रेड 5 can't read a grade 2 text. तो इसको कैसे बदलोगे आप? As a responsible citizen of my society, what steps can I take to reduce school dropouts of girls? Educate parents. Girls don't drop out themselves. आप सब यहां पे इसलिए बैठे हो, खड़े हो, क्योंकि आपके पेरेंट्स ने आपको सपोर्ट किया. आपके फादर ने, आपकी मदर ने, आपके बड़े भाई ने, आपकी बड़ी बहन ने, आपकी दोस्त ने, आपकी कम्युनिटी ने. आप लड़के यहां पे आए हो, उनको भी एजुकेट करो. मदर्स और मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली फादर्स को एजुकेट करो. मदर्स तो चाहती हैं कि लड़कियां पढ़ें, वो फादर पुल आउट कर देते हैं. उनको एजुकेट करो. आई हैव डन दिस विद अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल. So speak to your friends, parents, speak to the community's parents, do small sabhas with them, show them your examples, how you have succeeded. What have you succeeded? Not because of what you've eaten or where you sleep or what you wear. You've succeeded because you have worked hard and you've been given the right tools and resources to become who you want to become. And as long as you continue to do that, your dreams will come true. I think that was the last question.
एक्चुअली सर मुझे पूछना था कि जैसे पेरेंट्स जो होते हैं उन्हें अपनी लाइफ उन्हें बचपन से लेके इतने साल जो है वो एक ही माइंडसेट के साथ गुजारे हैं, तो वो काफी रिजिड होता जाता है समय के साथ. तो मैंने खुद भी ट्राई कर रखा है. मेरे घर के पास 2 लड़कियां थी, उनके पेरेंट्स नहीं चाह रहे थे उनकी हायर एजुकेशन के लिए. तो मैंने उनसे बात करने का ट्राई किया, काफी काफी ट्राई किया, और मैंने अपने मम्मी से भी डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स पे बात करी है जिसमें उनका मैं माइंडसेट थोड़ा इम्प्रूव करने का ट्राई करूँ. बट जो ओल्डर जनरेशन है वो यूजुअली नहीं मानती है चीजें. तो कैसे इफेक्टिवली हम उन्हें कन्विंस कर सकते हैं चीजों को लेके? एग्जाम्पल्स आर वन थिंग, बट अदर वेज क्या हो सकते हैं?
No, absolutely. So Meenu, you're right. मेरी भी प्रॉब्लम बहुत सिमिलर है. मैं भी दुनिया को बदलना चाहता हूँ. मैं भी चाहता हूँ हर एक बच्चे को एजुकेशन मिले. but I will not succeed. एक statement है which is a very important thing called the low hanging fruit. लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट का वो मतलब होता है जब आप पेड़ के पास जाते हो और जो सबसे नीचे फल है उसको पहले प्लक करो। ऊपर वाले फल को प्लक करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है, आपको पहुंचने में बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा। तो जो लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट है ना, टारगेट दैट। Don't target the parent who is today so rigid and not willing to listen, because you will lose your head trying to convince them. Let's start with the parent that is sitting on the fence saying करूं कि नहीं करूं। बच्चे अपने बेटे और बेटी को दोनों को स्कूल भेजूं कि सिर्फ बेटे को भेजूं, उनसे बात करो, बिकॉज वो फेंस पे बैठे हैं। दैट्स द लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट, right? Slowly, this is a long battle. It can't be fought in. I can't give you a simple solution to this because rigid mindsets. I've worked in communities where I have heard parents tell me, अगर बच्ची पढ़ी लिखी हो जाएगी कोई शादी नहीं करेगा इससे। How do I argue against that? I mean, I cannot give a logical reason. I cannot give a logical response to that. If you are saying that an educated girl is a liability for marriage, and that's how you think, I'm not fighting with you on that, because I don't have an answer to that, right? So you will, when you arrive at understanding that that is not the case, and that she gets married into a household where her education is valued, right? Now, I cannot get into that. Those are societal beliefs and taboos that just exist in society. But I will deal with those who were on the borderline of saying, अगर पढ़ते ही रहेगी तो कभी शादी नहीं होगी। ये नहीं कह रहे पढ़ने की वजह से शादी होगी, पढ़ते ही रहेगी तो शादी कौन करेगा। तो मैंने कहा शादी करने की जल्दी क्या है? आप डेटा पे देखो, जितनी जल्दी वो करेगी उतना कम फायदेमंद है उसके लिए। बट 22 की उम्र तक अगर उसने पढ़ लिख लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, नौकरी भी ले ली, बीच में वो गैप लेके शादी कर लेगी, फैमिली भी स्टार्ट कर लेगी, वापस भी काम पे आ जाएगी। व्हाई डज द वुमन हैव टू मेक द कॉम्प्रोमाइज एवरी टाइम? That also belief has to change. So start with the low hanging fruit. Start with those parents that are not well informed, that can look at Minu and say, you are a role model, you've done it, your parents supported you, so talk to them. That's the only thing I can advise you on.
Sir, thank you so much.
Sir, I would like to take some of your time. So there are 3 questions in the YouTube live chat. Just read
Amitav, you have time?
I have time.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So 2 questions are about time management, and I'm speaking them together. How does one remove the subconscious thought that by time management, I'm not being tied down? Second is, in today's world, students multitask between studies, internship, and personal projects. What are some practical ways to improve time management without burning out? These 2 questions were related to time management, and there is another question which says, given that a significant portion of population consists of neurodivergent children, how can we make education more inclusive and accessible to cater to their unique learning needs?
Great questions. Excellent. I mean, time management pe to, I mean, I think it's a full 1 hour conversation on time management. But time management में अपना example मैं आपको देता हूँ on time management, right? And it may work for you, it may not work for you. And like I said, there are tools and techniques on time management that can be applied, and one can do another session on it someday, and maybe the Karam Awaz team should pick up this at some point in time. But जो मैं करता हूँ time management में is I have a monthly calendar, a weekly calendar, and a daily calendar. Right? Simple. So I set myself monthly goals, which are broader goals, which take time to do. I set weekly goals and I set daily goals. And what I do is I typically have priorities set within these 3 different time frames. Monthly के एक high priority items होते हैं, medium priority items होते हैं, और low priority items होते हैं. The low and medium typically have the tendency or the likelihood to spill over, but the high priority items don't spill over. Similar with week and similar with day. And this has helped me a lot, because my ability to let go of tasks that are not in the high priority buckets doesn't get me worked up. It allows me to free up time from low priority and medium priority. Suppose in the day, I have only 2 top priority items, 3 medium and 3 low priority, but suddenly in the morning something emerges and 3 more items appear which all become top priority that have to be completed by the end of the day. Then my medium and low priority items get wiped away and I only have top priority items that I have to complete. So I have a sort of very flexible way of managing my priorities. I'm constantly looking back at my calendar. My calendar is my Bible that dictates what I do, what I don't do, when I do it. I color code a lot of my tasks. So there are simple tools and techniques. I have post-it notes everywhere that remind me. I'm old school, तो मैं actually note चिपकाता हूँ अपने कंप्यूटर पे, अपने बाथरूम पे, अपने दीवार पे, तो उसको मैं देखते रहता हूँ. I have lists everywhere, but also because I work with a fairly largish team that is spread across the country, for me that becomes sometimes difficult. So I make sure that my tasks and their tasks are aligned. And sometimes I have the ability to pass on some of my tasks to my team rather than having to do everything myself. So I leverage the resources and the people that I have available to me. So this is what I've done on time management. It may not be helpful in your specific case, but I've just shared what's worked for me. Your question on, just repeat the question on neurodivergent students.
Just a second, sir.
How do we include them?
Creative ways of including them.
Yeah, inclusive and accessible to cater their unique.
So, Sakshi, I'm going to come back to that very basic. I mean, we are talking, and why I'm saying it's such a fabulous question is because these are the kind of questions our educationists in our country and our policy makers in our country should be asking. But हम तो अभी तक वही पूछ रहे हैं कि
Amitav, we've lost you.
टीचर अवेलेबल है उसको मैं टीचर रियल पहुंचा दैट कि भाई अप्रैल में स्कूल खोल आई थिंक आई हैव गॉन ऑफ अगेन
Yeah, again, sorry. Can you repeat? हम वही question पूछ रहे हैं वहां से. Are you back?
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
We
am I
can
back?
see you now.
Back?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can see me. हाँ, sorry, थोड़ा lag है. So, still lagging at my end. Just give it 5 seconds.
Sir, you're
Yeah.
audible now.
Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
sir.
Okay, great. Sorry. So, point on neurodivergence, I think we need to look to some of the what I call the elite schools of our country. बिकॉज वो एलीट स्कूल्स ने ये जो बेसिक फाउंडेशनल लेवल इश्यूज हैं ना एजुकेशन डिलीवरी के वो रिजॉल्व कर दिए. अगर आप आज के एलीट स्कूल्स को देखोगे तो उनमें 2-2 3-3 टीचर होती है क्लासरूम में, उनके पास स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स होते हैं, उनके पास करियर काउंसलर्स होते हैं, उनके पास करिकुलम मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ करिकुलम ऑफरिंग्स होती है, आईबी भी होती है, सीबीएसई भी होती है. They are able to ask and answer these questions. Okay, now how do I become more inclusive? Some schools have done a fabulous job of inclusivity, right? Fabulous job. And teaching inclusion and being inclusive are two very fundamentally different things. So I would say whoever's asked this question, I think let's study some of the schools across our country that are that have done fabulous work on inclusivity, that have done fabulous work on neurodivergence and recognizing the neurodivergence in classrooms, that have done fabulous work on providing different streams and different curricula to different sets of schools. So ये government स्कूलों में बहुत कम दिखता है. मेरे पास वो experience नहीं है to say how it can be done well, but I know that's where you can look to get some of the answers.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we are all done with the questions now. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your invaluable time, because we often get to hear you because we are fortunate, but this time Sakis and there were so many participants on YouTube joined us and made this successful. And what made successful is your points. I would just like to repeat one to two because that really stood out, and I think we have a lot to think. So yeah, very first one, knowledge is important. um we all have knowledge, but presenting knowledge is a skill, and how we are presenting it is an attitude. So having that right kind of attitude, having that skill, how important is that? Thank you so much for bringing that out. And for the creativity, कटहल वाला एग्जांपल आई थिंक अब कोई नहीं भूलेगा. सो अगर कटहल गिरता तो क्या हमें ग्रेविटेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट मिलता, या फिर न्यूटन जी चले गए होते. So these are some of the points that we can, I mean, it really helps us to think how creativity is important in our life. And then learning never stops. It is a lifelong process, and we should always learn from each other, because I feel that everyone is different, and everyone has a different power or a style of doing something. So we can always learn from each other. We should have that growth mindset and attitude. And after that, empathy. You said that we all are empathetic, and we have started this. We want to amplify our impact. What all we all can say is that through your facts and data, what we have realized that we are privileged, and it is our onus, it is our responsibility how we use this privilege to give others also privilege. How can we make them empowered and can feel belonged? So that's why I would say that Radhika ma'am and the KARM team has इन्होंने ये shoulders खड़े किए हैं. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. The participants on YouTube and our dear Sakhis, your questions were fabulous, no doubt. And we could also learn a lot from you. So thank you, sir. I think we are done. Radhika
Thank you.
ma'am.
Just thank you, Amitav. It was really engaging, like always. And congratulations to the KARM facilitators, Jyoti and her team, for putting this together, and for to all the Sakis. This is just the beginning, and we are there with you. And we will try and do a time management workshop for you. And thank you for giving us feedback. So thank you. Thank you, Amitav, once again. And
Thank you again. Thank you so much. And I again want to close by saying fabulous job by Jyoti, Sakshi, and Sneha. I think you are definitely at the 70-meter mark in this race. Basis what you have done. So I'm very happy to see what you have learnt over the last 3 years with the KARM team, and thanks for being in the part of the fellowship. And excellent job on hosting this very difficult and diverse group of people. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I apologize for dropping out every now and then, but really enjoyed being with all of you and look forward to staying engaged and hopefully connecting on another topic somewhere down the road.
yes, thank you. Thank you, Amitav. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Can
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
KARM team just stay for a minute and yeah. Oh,
I think we can stop streaming it live.
Yes, just give me a minute. I'll stop the recording as well.